So here we have a leg of lamb. Obviously you get 2 legs off of a lamb and 2 shoulders. So the shoulders have got a lot more fat content in than the legs. And this leg is 2.36 kilos, costs £15, £6.50 a kilo roughly. So now a lamb is a lamb until it's 1 year old, and then it becomes mutton. So that could be a question in the exam. So, and this has got the hock on it. So this bit's like the hock bit here, and you get the lamb shanks. You can buy them as lamb shanks. So you sort of cut them off around here if you have lamb shanks, depending on how big they are. So you get this bit here. But I'm going to dice it up here. So today I'm going to make 2 different dishes with it. I'm doing curry today, and like not roast lamb, but I'm going to do like a slow cooking meal tomorrow. So one thing you do need to do, on the outside it's got a very thin layer of fat. You can see it's only a thin layer, and it's a bit sinewy. So I'll just show you this. If you go under the skin, I'm going to be able to take this off. This is a bit sort of chewy, that bit there. So it's as well as being fat, it's also a bit chewy as well. So I normally try and take that off once I've diced it all up. So anyway, so dice it all up. I'll just show you the chop. Cut these bits off. Then I'm going to try and cook some on the bone tomorrow in the slow cooker. So most of this I'm cutting off now, or half of it, or just over half. I'm going to leave some of the bone. I could cook some bits in the slow cooker, some big bits like this, but I'm going to chop this up for curry. I'll move this to one side. Like I said, I normally trim this off. Take some of this off. And there's loads of other things you can do. Navrin of lamb's a famous lamb dish, Irish stew, which is with pearl barley. But as you can see, it's reasonably lean now. It looks quite lean, the meat. Not like shoulder. So shoulder is quite fatty. And just dice it up depending how big you want it. Obviously I'm going to leave a little bit of the fat on there. Dice it reasonably big, but you can dice it a bit smaller if you want to. So I'm going to take some of the fat off and leave a little bit off. Bit here. Here's the lamb. You also get the best part of the lamb is probably the best end, which is like where you get the cutlets. And if you go to a posh restaurant, you get the best end of the lamb. It's called a rack of lamb. You get about normally 5 sort of bones in it. Sometimes you get more, and that's quite expensive. That's probably the most expensive part of the lamb. And you only get 2 of them on a whole lamb. So most of the restaurants have them. I've worked in a few that sell them, and they're quite expensive. You get the best of the neck of lamb's another thing for stewing, and you get the breast of lamb, which is called the belly. So on a pork, it's belly pork. On a cow, it's brisket, and on a lamb, it's called the breast, even though it's like the belly part of it. Thank you. So we're going to do some braised lamb now. So I've got 3 bits of lamb here. They're a bit like hocks. One of them is like a lamb shank, which is the top bit of the leg. And I've chopped 2 bits off the leg as well. So they've both got the bone in, they're roughly the same size. So this is half a lamb leg, because the other half I diced up and made lamb curry with. Now here I've got 2 chicken carcasses, because I've cut 2 chickens up yesterday. And I'm just going to make some chicken stock with this here. So they're going to boil for about an hour or 2. Normally 2 hours for chicken stock. So I'll put that in there. And I've got the lid on, I'll show you that. So I'm just going to boil that up for about 2 hours, and I'm going to use the chicken stock for some of the dishes I'm making. I'm also doing some potato dishes today. So I'm going to put the lid on it. I'm going to put the pan on for the lamb, because I'm going to seal it first. Yeah, I won't put it on too high, let it heat up. So we've got the lamb shanks here. So I'm going to chop some stuff up for it. So here we've got some different herbs. I've got some fresh herbs and some dried herbs. So I've got fresh herbs a bit better, but I'll just show you can use dried. So any herbs that you like really. With lamb normally rosemary goes quite well, thyme, parsley, any of those, coriander if you like it, depending on what you like. And some mint. So I've got some mint on here. So I've got fresh mint, fresh rosemary, and some fresh parsley. But I might use that later because that's going to lose a lot of its flavour. So the first thing I'm going to do is take some of this rosemary off. Just picked all this out of the garden. I've got some garlic there. Garlic goes well with it as well, with lamb. And you can impregnate it, make some slits in it. Now if I was to cook this, I could get some slits in here. So if I put some slits in here like so, and put the garlic in. If I was roasting it, I'd do that, but it tends to fall out anyway. So I'm just going, as you can see, I've chopped up some onions already, and I've got 2 garlics just to peel. So to peel these, the best way to do is just push your knife down, give it a smack, give it a tap, and the skins will just fall off. You see the skins just fall straight off. That saves far easier than trying to peel it like an onion. Yeah. So vegetables wise, this any vegetables you like in it. I've got red onion, white onion, carrot, and I've got some leeks here. So I've got a leek here to put in it in a minute. So I'm going to chop the garlic up. It's going to be cooking for about 4 or 5 hours this. So in a slow cooker, but if you want to just cook it in the oven, you could seal it and then have it about 2 hours in the oven would probably work. But if you put it in the slow cooker, you can leave it in there for ages. Yeah, make sure you don't put any of this, get the raw skin out. Not going to make it too small, a little bit smaller than this. And I put a little bit of salt on it, so sometimes speeds it up. And also I'm going to make a bit of a rub to put it on the lamb to give it some flavour. So I've already put some black pepper on there, on the lamb. I'm going to put this and mix it with fresh herbs and put it on top. So I'm a little bit smaller than this. Don't put the pan on too high to heat up, otherwise it will catch on fire. That'd be small enough, I think. So I'm going to put some parsley. So fresh or dried. Like I said, I've got some thyme. I'm going to put some rosemary as well. I've got some fresh rosemary here. And quickly chop that up. Could have chopped that up with the garlic actually. Then I'm going to sprinkle this all over the lamb. I'm going to move the lamb forward so you can see it. Move swapping around. I've got some garlic pepper here as well. I've put some ground pepper on already. A little bit of garlic pepper. Roll it around in this. And use it all up anyway, put it in the pot later. So put it in. You could marinate this now overnight or for a few hours, but I'm just going to seal it off straight away. So now I'm going to go back to the pan. Put it on high. I can always move it to the centre when it's not quite hot enough. Let's see if this makes any noise. Oh, that's okay, making a bit of a noise, that'll be okay. So you can just put it in raw, but braising is a bit of frying and stewing. So I'm just not going to stew it straight away, I'm going to fry it and stew it. Or you can roast it and stew it. That's what braising is. It gives a bit more flavour. By me frying it, it will have a bit more flavour on it. So while that's frying, it's going to fry about 2 or 3 minutes each side. I'm going to go back to the chopping. And then I've cut the onions up already. I'm going to put them in the bowl. I'm going to fry them afterwards as well for a bit more flavour. So I've got some carrots here. Yeah. So cut the ends off, already peeled them. Cut the ends off. So this will make it a bit healthier as well and give it some flavour. So the 3 and a half, so we just take it over, just over a carrot each. Quite a lot of carrot, which is good, quite like it. Nice and cheap. So cut it into like quarters. Let's see, cut into round bits of. Cut it in half first, cut it into quarters. And then you can cut a few at a time. Yeah. Oh, you can't quite see that. Let me just move the camera around. So I'll show you that again actually. So rather than cut it round like this, which most pupils do, then that's going to be a little bit big. So I'm going to cut it in half first, then into quarters, and then down. I'm going to shut the door so I don't set the smoke alarm off. I'm going to quickly just turn the lamb over. I'll show you it in a minute, so I'll just turn it over. Yeah. The chicken stock can go down a bit. So next one. Cut in half. That's it, and then you can cut it, and you can get it a lot smaller if you want to, depending how big you want it. That's about the size I want it today. Yeah. That's 4 carrots and a leek. A leek's an unusual vegetable because it can be dirty inside, so you have to cut it a little bit to be able to wash the inside, which I'm just going to show you. So these are going to be fried in a minute after I've done the leek. So leek, we cut the end off, cut the other little end off it dry. Now if it's a real old one, now it's sometimes got lots of dirt inside here, but the way to do that is to cut it down, and to cut it down this way as well, and you can see if there's any dirt in it. Not much sometimes. Oh, so you can see a bit of dirt there. So let me have a look to see. Do you see that? So if you try and cut it like round bits, sometimes it traps it in there. So now I go over to the tap and just wash this out under the running water. So I'm running it under the running cold water. Make sure the dirt's out, and you can soak it for a bit if you need to. That's not too bad. So then we can just chop it up. So this will definitely give it some good flavour. Now I'm going to chop the parsley up. You can, if they're thick stalks, I take them out. They're very thin stalks, so I'm not going to bother with them. A little bit on here. So I've got some parsley, fresh mint, bit more rosemary. Fresh thyme would be good, but I've run out of that from the garden. So I have got it in the garden, but there's none else at the moment. Chop that up, and I'm going to probably put that in later. I could put that in now. Now, liquids for it, you can use water. I've got stock here, but you can see I'm making chicken stock, so I won't use that, or I could do that for a bit more flavour. I've got some red peppercorns here, which I quite like, which I could put in, and you can put wine in or tinned tomatoes. So we're going to show you it now. As you can see, just bring it up a little bit. So I might bring it to the middle, so I'm going to switch them around. So the stock can go on there, lower it down, and then this one can go back on high. So it needs a little bit more cooking for a bit of flavour. Just turn it over. As you can see, it's colouring now. And you can add the garlic later if you don't want it to colour too much. So once it's coloured, that's nearly about right. I'm going to take it out and then fry it. Oh, you can't see that. Let me just move the camera. I'm going to fry it for another couple of minutes, and then I'm going to add the vegetables. And in my slow cooker, which is here, I put it on high, but then once it's bubbling, now I lower it down. Most people, when they use slow cookers, don't need too much liquid. So either 1 tin of tomatoes or equivalent of that much liquid would be plenty. Then obviously if you like dumplings, you can put the dumplings in with an hour to go. So as you can see, that's nearly done. So I could leave that a little bit longer, just to keep you awake. I'm just going to take them out for a minute. Yeah. I'm going to fry the vegetables and then add it all together. So the onions, I think I'm going to put the fresh herbs in a bit later, nearer the end, yeah? Right near the end I'm going to put them in actually. The rosemary could go in early, but the parsley is good. And just stir this around, get a spoon out. That's it. I'm going to cook that till it gets a bit of colour, then put it all in together.